How to control your emotions. Like Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic secret to staying calm under pressure. Imagine someone insults you. They raise their voice. They question your intelligence. They try to provoke you. Most people react immediately. They argue. They defend themselves. They lose control. But Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the Roman Empire, faced betrayal, war, criticism, and unimaginable pressure almost every single day. Yet history remembers him not for his anger, but for his extraordinary calm. How? Was he simply born different? Or did he know something the rest of us don't? In this video, you'll discover the Stoic method Marcus Aurelius used to master his emotions. A method that remains just as powerful today as it was nearly 2,000 years ago. Stay until the end. Because the final lesson may completely change the way you respond to difficult people forever. Introduction. Emotions are not your enemy. Anger, fear, frustration, sadness. Every emotion has a purpose. The real problem begins when emotions become your master instead of your messenger. Think about the biggest mistakes you've ever made. How many happened because you paused, reflected, and calmly made a decision? Probably very few. Most regrets are born from emotional reactions, words spoken in anger, choices made in fear, promises broken in frustration. The Stoics understood something remarkable. You cannot stop emotions from appearing, but you can decide whether they deserve your obedience. That single distinction separates emotionally reactive people from emotionally resilient ones. Marcus Aurelius practiced this every single day, not because life was easy, but because life demanded it. Part 1. The first emotion is not your final decision. Imagine someone throws a stone into a quiet lake. The water immediately ripples. That first ripple is automatic. You didn't choose it. Your emotions work exactly the same way. Someone insults you, anger appears. Someone rejects you, sadness appears. Someone lies to you, disappointment appears. These first emotional reactions are natural. The Stoics never asked people to eliminate them. Instead, they asked a far more powerful question. What happens next? Most people assume emotions must immediately become actions. They feel angry, so they shout. They feel anxious, so they avoid. They feel jealous, so they compare themselves endlessly. Marcus Aurelius refused to live this way. He understood that between emotion and action, there's a moment of choice, a brief pause, a single breath, and within that breath lives your freedom. The emotion may knock on the door, but you decide whether to invite it inside. That is where emotional mastery begins. Part 2. You don't have to believe every emotion. Imagine looking into a mirror at a carnival. One mirror makes you look taller. Another makes you look shorter. Another completely distorts your face. Would you believe those reflections represented reality? Of course not. Yet every day, people believe every emotion as though it were the absolute truth. They feel like a failure, so they assume they are one. They feel unloved, so they conclude nobody cares. They feel afraid, so they convince themselves they're incapable. But emotions are not facts. They are signals, sometimes useful, sometimes misleading. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself to separate reality from interpretation. A difficult event is one thing. The story you tell yourself about that event is something entirely different. For example, losing your job is painful, but telling yourself, "My life is over," that's an interpretation. Someone criticizing your work is real. Believing, "I'll never be good enough," That's another interpretation. The Stoics challenge these stories before accepting them, because your emotions may knock on the door, but your mind decides whether to let them stay. Part 3. Pause before you respond. One of the greatest differences between weak and strong minds is not intelligence, it's timing. Emotionally reactive people answer immediately. Emotionally disciplined people pause. That pause may last only a few seconds, but those few seconds can change an entire life. Imagine receiving an angry message. Your heart begins racing. Your fingers move toward the keyboard. You want to defend yourself. You want the last word. Now imagine putting the phone down, walking away, taking 5 slow breaths, returning only after your emotions have settled. Would your response be different? Almost certainly. This simple habit saved Marcus Aurelius from countless unnecessary conflicts. He understood that temporary emotions often create permanent consequences. One angry sentence can destroy years of trust. One impulsive decision can change the direction of a life. That's why the Stoics valued reflection over reaction. Not because they were passive, but because they understood that calm decisions are almost always better than emotional ones. Every pause strengthens your self-control, and every act of self-control strengthens your character. Character isn't built during easy moments. It's built in the seconds when nobody knows how hard you're fighting to remain calm. Part 4. Focus on what you can control. Imagine trying to stop the rain. You shout at the sky. You complain, you become frustrated, but the rain continues. Nothing changes. Now imagine opening an umbrella. The rain is still there, but your experience is completely different. This is one of the most powerful lessons Marcus Aurelius practiced every day. He understood that suffering often begins when we try to control what was never ours. You cannot control whether people respect you. You cannot control whether someone misunderstands you. You cannot control the economy, the weather, the past, or the opinions of strangers. But you can always control something far more important. Your response, your attitude, your words, your actions, your character. This simple shift changes everything. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is the best response I can choose right now?" That question immediately moves your attention away from frustration and back towards personal responsibility. The Stoics believe that your peace should never depend on circumstances you cannot control. Because if your happiness depends on the outside world will always have the power to disturb you. Real freedom begins the moment your inner world becomes stronger than the chaos around you. Part 5. Train your mind every single day. Marcus Aurelius didn't become emotionally disciplined overnight. He trained his mind every single day. His private journal, what we now know as meditations, wasn't written to impress anyone. It was written to remind himself to stay patient, to stay humble, to stay rational, to stay kind, even as the most powerful man in the Roman Empire. That's an important lesson. Emotional control isn't a destination, it's a daily practice. Here are 4 simple Stoic habits you can begin today. First, pause before reacting. Even one deep breath can interrupt an emotional impulse. Second, question your thoughts. Ask yourself, is this a fact or just my interpretation? Third, focus only on what you control. Leave the rest behind. Finally, reflect every evening. Ask yourself, where did my emotions control me today? And how can I respond with greater wisdom tomorrow? Small improvements, repeated daily, create extraordinary inner strength. That's how emotional mastery is built, not through one perfect decision, but through thousands of calm ones. Conclusion: Marcus Aurelius faced wars, disease, political betrayal, the pressure of leading an empire. Yet he understood something many people never discover. The greatest battle is never outside. It's within. Every day, life will test your patience, your courage, your discipline, your ability to remain calm when everything around you feels uncertain. You cannot always choose what happens, but you can always choose who you become because of it. Remember this: anyone can control their emotions when life is easy. The true test of character begins when life isn't. And every difficult moment is another opportunity to practice the Stoic way. Not perfectly, but consistently. If you're committed to mastering your emotions instead of being controlled by them, leave one word in the comments: control. Let it remind you that your greatest power has never been over other people. It's always been over yourself. If this lesson inspired you, subscribe to Stoic Mindset and join us on the journey toward a calmer mind, stronger character, and lasting inner peace. Because the strongest person in the room is rarely the loudest. It's the one who remains calm when everyone else loses control.